old show. This is the Big O 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 Show.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moodius Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodius.dental. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodiusdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Ray. South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. 4649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me turn off the light. Okay. Much better. Much better. Anyway, welcome aboard, folks. Yes, sir. Sorry I was late. I actually had a doctor's appointment. So, damn, that's strong. That is strong. Ooh. Ooh. Damn. That's just like, there we go. There we go. At least a little bit more human. Anyway, so sorry about that. We'll figure that out as time goes on. Anyways, there we go. Sorry about that. I am late. I was having I have elbow bursitis, so I was getting that thing drained. So I was running late, and I apologize. Obviously, with the whole Ramsey news and everything breaking, we got a lot of things to talk about. The Titanic, as we've told you, has been sinking for a while. Reggie McKenzie looked around and said, yeah, I'm going to Tennessee and go hang out and, you know, all that good stuff. And, you know, you guys aren't winning here. I'll go to Tennessee. Calais Campbell looked around and said, no, I'm going to Baltimore. Or anybody else? Any more money? Oh, Arizona? Yeah, I'm out of here. There was no way Teron Armstead was going to sacrifice. People that have an opportunity to leave this place are going to leave. Jalen Ramsey, this is nothing that has, this whole mutual thing is a load of bullshit. Okay? The Dolphins will lose cap space on this. They don't want to make this trade. They don't want to trade Tyreek either. They don't want to trade anybody because it sets them back. Okay, so Jalen making this move sends a major, major signal. We'll get into a lot of this stuff. But before we do that, we're going to get to our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with the one and only David Furones.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
And again, I want to apologize because this is what was being drained out of my elbow this morning. I go to him, I got to take a picture of this. So they just drained this out of my elbow this morning. So I did my best to rush over. I was a little late because I also stopped for a chicken biscuit at Chick-fil-A. Sorry, I've got that disease. Anyway, good morning to you, sir. Apparently, I'm still having a better morning than anybody in the Miami Dolphins building. How you doing?
Good morning, Big O. Hope your elbow's doing well, and can't blame you for making a stop at Chick-fil-A. I mean, that sounds like that'll make any morning better.
Yeah, although I happen to have the worst Chick-fil-A in my neighborhood, the one on 120th and Kendall Drive. They don't do a good job with the biscuit itself. The biscuit itself, they don't really know how to make it fluffy. Like the one in Doral is really good. They know how to do it.
Oh, I've been to that one, yeah.
Yeah, they know how to do it right. The one in Doral. Most of the Chick-fil-A's know how to do it right. But the one I have by my neighborhood, they make a soggy biscuit, which kind of sucks, So, but hey,
whatever, bro. The chicken is delicious. So I had to
soggy.
Yeah, soggy. Even soggy, I have to deal with it, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? The soggy situation is what we've been talking about all off season. The front office and these people, they don't want him to trade. They can't trade Tyreek, and they can't trade Jalen, and they can't trade anybody because it will set them back and set their cap space back, and they're trying to save their jobs. Well, the people that can get off are trying to get off, and now Jalen Ramsey's the newest one. This mutual stuff, nobody believes that, dude. Nobody. How's it mutual that they're going to lose what, $7 million of cap space now? If they trade them, that's $7 million they have less to sign players and draft picks and everything. So,
I think it might even be 9. I think
it might be 9. Look at that, bro. I mean, I know it's like a ridiculous number already. So this mutual shit is bull crap. But this is the worst part about it is people from inside see it imploding. I don't know if we've talked enough about it. I know we have on our show on how bad. I've already told people I have no hope for this season. I'm not even looking forward to this season because they've got nothing. There's no way. McDaniel had better teams the last 2 years. We're asking him to become an incredible coach to be able to overcome all of this. You know, the Jalen Ramsey request of a trade sends a huge message, David. Huge message.
Yeah, the mutual part of it, I kind of laugh at it, scoff at it too, because it's mutual once you put the word out there, but it had to start from somewhere, and it definitely started with Jalen Ramsey coming to the Dolphins and saying he wants a trade. Then sure, once you have to confirm it, then it goes both ways. We mutually want to trade him as well. Yeah, once he says he wants out, but although that's not the route that they did go with Tyreek Hill, because I guess they figured they could get him to sort of reverse course and get back on track. He just blew up that one day, and then he would like to be in Miami. So he can go back and forth. Jalen knows what he wants.
David, he has no value. You're not getting anything in return for Tyreek. The most they're going to give you is a late third-day pick because nobody's taking a risk on him. At least with Jalen Ramsey, you could probably get back a decent second, third-round pick or something, or a third and a fourth, or 2 fourths or something. I don't know. But you're going to get at least some kind of a pick out of him because people can count on him to play and be a professional and in that sense. But the message that Jalen Ramsey is sending to everybody, that's not a good one, dude. Like, I want the hell out of this place. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, from his perspective, and he's not one to open up too much, and it's not like we're going to hear it straight from him. He wouldn't be revealing that way in the media setting, but it is telling that he kind of views this as probably, okay, you're in sort of like your twilight years. You're getting out of your prime. You're wasting years in your NFL career, valuable seasons. And this thing in Miami didn't turn out the way you thought when you looked for a trade out of the Rams. When, remember, they were the ones rebuilding, and now the Rams are ahead of the Dolphins. I think about the same thing when I look at the Texans, how they got to back-to-back divisional rounds. Now with C.J. Stroud, the Laramie Tunsil trade, and it was like they rebuilt after that. The Dolphins had their number 3 pick, and then the Texans went through a whole rebuild and then also passed the Dolphins. It's incredible how some of this happens, but both for the Rams and for the Chiefs, moving on from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey, both of them also passing the Dolphins. It's wild how a lot of this works out, and Jalen Ramsey wanted to go to a contender when the Rams were in that rebuild, and then suddenly all it results to is 2 wild card playoff appearances, no playoff wins, and then the Rams are right back in it, and they're winning a playoff game and competing to the last play in the divisional round against the eventual Super Bowl champion in the Eagles. And you look at that in comparison, and you're like, man, I gotta go find myself another situation again. So I don't blame him from Ramsey's perspective.
Only thing is, who at this point, who has $20 million of cap space? Is he looking for another extension? because that's probably what you're going to have to do if you trade. Whoever trades for him is probably going to have to give him an extension to kind of extend the salary to a certain extent, right? I mean, so what are we talking about here trade-wise, if it can even happen, and you'd like for it to happen before the draft too? So what are we talking about now? Who are we looking at right now?
Yeah, think about it. 2 years ago, it was a third rounder and Hunter Long as a tight end that was seldom used that the Dolphins traded for Ramsey. So that was, with given his contract, that was already kind of like just apples to oranges. The trade that you had was a steal to get a player of the caliber of Ramsey for that. But obviously you're taking on his contract. So even more so now, it would be, I'm just some kind of day 3 pick. Now it could be a great trade piece to, now you take the best offer you get before the draft. If there's an incredible offer that you can't refuse, go for it. But he could be an incredible trade piece on draft day if a team gets desperate, maybe struck out on a corner they wanted, or if the Dolphins want to move into a spot, that's a great asset to just be able to shop around and tell a competing team, hey, you can get Jalen Ramsey right now if you give us this pick where we're trying to move into, and then whatever other pick swaps just make the math work as far as the value chart, then sure, that could be an asset to use on draft day, but not one that the Dolphins were expecting to be shopping around, one that the Dolphins would have preferred to be building around with a secondary that already would have had Jalen Ramsey. And now cornerback becomes not just a need for the Dolphins, the highest priority need for the Dolphins on draft day.
Okay. I need to find logic. I need to find direction. I need to find what my motivation is. Example, I have the Achilles surgery in my foot. I'm going to be screwed. I'm going to be stuck in a bed for 3 months. What's my motivation? You know what? I'm going to lose weight. I lost 34 pounds while I'm in bed. Okay, so I found direction and motivation in that. You know what I'm saying? And so I tend to try to see in anything in life, if you're faced with adversity, okay, now let's find a target. Let's find some motivation. Let's find a goal. What's the end game here for Dolphin fans? What's the end game for the organization? Please don't tell me winning. You're not, you can try to sell winning to people if you want, but you don't have the coach that'll get it done. You don't have a team that's better than the one from the last 2 years. So you've taken steps back the last couple of years because you blew your load. You spent the money. You had your window. Now you can't. Now you don't have the money. Now you can't spend it. You're not going to win. You're trying to sell us bullshit about winning. And wait a minute. So then if you're not going to win and you're going to end up firing people at the end of the year, then what are you doing with this draft? Are you going to allow, McDaniel or whoever else to put an imprint on a draft that next year somebody else takes over for? So what is the end game here? What's the method behind the madness? Are you moving on without McDaniel next year and the front office is still staying? Or are you actually doing everything, going through the process of the entire draft and a season only to blow everybody out? And then next year, whoever comes in, you know how it goes. I like these players. I don't like these players. This one fits. That one doesn't fit. And so you're back to the reason why we've had a ton of talent go through this roster the last couple of years. And a lot of them are playing in other places. And you either kept the wrong people or let the wrong people go. And that's because you've had so much turnover in coaches, offense, defense, head coaches, all of that. And that doesn't allow any continuity. Another disruptive year of not having whatever it is in place for next year. What's the end game here? Please explain to me what you're trying to do. That's what I want to know. David, explain what they're trying to do now.
This is what perplexes me so much, Big O, and I wish I could answer and have some kind of explanation, some kind of answer for what it is for the Dolphins. But now the timeline's all over the place now, because the whole basis, as I continue to answer to you all last season when it was about you were telling me that the Dolphins should get rid of Mike McDaniel, and I would say, well, you committed to this core and you're committed to this win now window, and you got to give it another shot after you had 2 playoff appearances, and you're going for it, and you dished out all this money in contract extensions to not only extending Mike McDaniel's contract himself, but to Tua, to Jalen Waddle, to Jalen Ramsey, adding guarantees to Tyreek Hill's contract. So that's a commitment to going for it. And then now, as you start to break this down with, on top of everything else, Teron Armstead retiring, Calais Campbell leaving in free agency, now Jalen Ramsey wants out. That's a lot of your veteran core. Tyreek Hill has voiced that he wants out, but then is back on board and this and that, and has another incident come up every month. Then that's just a huge blow to that core and that commitment that you've made. And now it's, you are bringing back the guys at the top, but it's also in what might be classified, and Chris Greer probably wouldn't say this when he speaks later today in a pre-draft press conference, but it's looking like at the very least a soft rebuild when you have all these draft picks and you have the veteran players that I mentioned departing and other guys not exactly 100% on board. And then now it's this Greer and McDaniel combination drafting for what is sort of this new infusion of young talent that if things don't work out this year, now it's them leading it, and maybe they're drafting for the next regime's start to whatever plan they'll have if it turns out that way. So it's really all over the place when I look at this, and it's perplexing that now it's going to be this in between of the win now window is kind of gone, and it's bringing in this new young talent. And really, I think now Greer and McDaniel are going to be judged, and this would be a cheap way to continue their regime. But it's not going to be by a playoff win. It's if it looks promising from this draft class that they bring in, combined with what's already there. If there are enough promising pieces that you say there is a future here, if it doesn't, then I would be looking in another direction again, where the next regime would be, like you said, piecing some of those pieces together with what they want to move forward with in the future.
See, the way I see it right now, because I don't know what the plan is. You never get to talk to Stephen Ross anymore, so you really don't know what the plan is above, the general manager. And unfortunately, and as much as I've been a believer in the front office side of it and the personnel side, the coaching side of it has been a disaster, unfortunately. And I'm being honest, which I'm usually brutally honest here about everything. I tell Dolphins, you're 3 years away from the rebuild, because you have to go through this season, whether you keep McDaniel or not, which there's a good chance you're going to change. And if you're going to change him, do you change? Does the general manager get to hire his third coach? Probably not. So if you do change general managers, then everybody else that comes in, you know it and I know it. I talked about all the money issues. The money issues continue into next year. You have a few salaries that you have to hang on to again, because if not, they're cap crippling. And if you want to then release them, that's fine. But it's another year of a kind of a disaster. You're 3 years away from actually the real rebuild starting, for this team. And that's crazy, dude. That's absolute insanity that people are going to have to hang around. This is not the only dead year. Next year easily will be a dead year. And then the year after, if you're kind of starting a rebuild, then it's another kind of like dead year because you're rebuilding. There's really not, it's not just about this season. There's not a lot to look forward to in the near future, period.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's already been 25 years. It's already been 25 years of this, Big O. And then now when you have to tear it all down, and it's like you can't even tear it all down in one fell swoop. It's just you've made all these commitments, which is why I would always say, like, no, you have to run it back because you already committed to all this. It's that there is no just quick rebuild to break it all down. It's not like you can just get rid of all the contracts, start brand new, and then draft your future with some high draft picks. You're drafting in the middle again, much like a lot of those years where this franchise for the past 2 decades was inept. It was kind of just stuck in the middle. Yeah, you're not going with a big early draft pick, and you're not a playoff team consistently vying down the road and picking at the end of the draft. So it's just that sort of worst place to be. And now the Dolphins are right back in it. And the only way is because it's much less likely that they just go the winning route with everything that this mass exodus is happening. You got to go back to the start. And then it's just, you're another few years down the road on that, on seeing the fruits of that. So it's already been 25 years. And then we're going to start going up on 30 by the time the Dolphins can seriously make another run at a playoff win.
Yeah, this has been going on for over 40 years, bro. 40
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Marino years, we were a bunch of chokers too. The few places that Marino got to, we choked every time. And it wasn't Marino's fault. I'm not blaming ever him. I'm just saying the same issues that exist now have always existed for 40 years. This team doesn't understand that you win at the line of scrimmage. They have no concept of that. They don't really understand that if you dominate at the line of scrimmage, that's what gives you a chance to win. Even if you don't have great talent on the edges at times, you can sometimes overcome that. Not in every spot, but sometimes in like the Chiefs. They haven't had great receivers yet. They traded their great receiver and they went on to win 2 titles. You know what I mean? And went to another Super Bowl and lost it, but they lost it. Why? Because they didn't have the offensive line, not because they didn't have the receivers. They had more than enough receivers with that quarterback in order to win. And it's just the weirdest thing that for 40 years, whether you have Marino, whether you have Fiedler, whether you have whoever, bro, it doesn't matter. They don't win at the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. And look what they're doing this year. So far, they haven't fixed the offensive line. We don't even know if they have anyways, we don't even know what Daniels will be, and we don't know what their left guard will be. And then at defensive tackle, you got nobody outside of Sealer. So it's just like, it's crazy how it's habitually the same problem for 40 years. They rarely ever dominate on both lines. And when they won in the 70s, why do you think they won? Fucking Greasy threw 6 passes in a Super Bowl. You don't have to pass much if your offensive line is going to dominate and you got 3 running backs they hand it off to. I mean, it's just stupid. And the game really hasn't changed. And he who wins at the line of scrimmage wins. And the same problems just, it's Groundhog Day, as Dave Hyde would say.
Yeah. You mentioned the line of scrimmage. I think back to 2023 and what a missed opportunity it really was, because you actually had what was your strongest point on both lines in this recent regime, where you still had Teron Armstead, you had Connor Williams there, you had Robert Hunt still in the building, Austin Jackson growing, and he actually went on to have a good season that year, the one that got him the contract extension. And Isaiah Wynn was showing promise in those first 7 games before he got hurt. So the injury bug killed you on the offensive line with Isaiah Wynn going out for the season, Connor Williams missing some time, and then also then he went on season-ending IR once he had that Titans game, that ACL tear in December. And then also Armstead, of course, he had some time on IR, had to come back. And then on the defensive line, you had Zach Sealer with his first double-digit sack season, and Christian Wilkins. You had them together, both of them putting up those that interior pass rush, but then also the run stopping that they provide on the D-line. With also Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb on the edge until each of them had their season-ending injuries. So what an opportunity that was derailed by injury, and then eventually just the slow progression of guys leaving with Wilkins and Hunt on each line that offseason, and then it just continued. Obviously, Connor Williams, it was going to be tough for him coming off the ACL. Now he's retired, but he was actually like pretty good with Seattle for a little bit there last season. But it's been devastating that was a solid trench group on both sides, and then it was an opportunity wasted, and there you have it. Now you're right back to needing a lot of help on both the O-line and D-line.
Just all right. So what does the knucklehead do now? Because the knucklehead's going to get motivated now all of a sudden and want to revisit a trade when the knucklehead doesn't realize that nobody wants his ass anyway. And if anybody's going to get, they're going to give away a pick. Now, he doesn't give a shit what they give away because all he wants is to get off of this sinking ship. You know, like everybody else is getting off. Well, anybody has a chance to get off the sinking ship is going to get off the sinking ship. So what does the knucklehead do now? What are we expecting from the knucklehead?
Yeah, I could very easily see him just again throwing up one of these, and maybe it's in a troll. Well, you never know with Tyreek. Maybe he legitimately again does want out. If you're looking from his perspective, like Jalen Ramsey, he's getting up there in age, and if he wants to win, then it would behoove him to find
here.
You
don't stay here to win.
Yeah, I think we covered that part of it. But he also has said that he values being in Miami and he likes being down here. So I could easily just see him accepting it for what it is, and he's gone back and forth on this so much that just this offseason alone. Now that you have the added wrench thrown in there of Jalen Ramsey wanting out, then that could be some added motivation again to revisit that, and maybe he wants out of it as well. And hey, for the Dolphins, just get rid of those two high-priced. Now, again, it's going to hurt you in terms of cap space, but it could be more draft pick.
Explain that to people. I've been trying to explain that to people all offseason. These guys don't want to trade anybody. They cannot. Their jobs are on the line. They're going to lose cap space. Like this Ramsey trade is a double whammy for them. Like, not only do you lose Jalen Ramsey, but now you lose more cap space that you cannot make up. And oh my God, that's just it's insanity, bro.
You know what it tells you? Just this is the lesson to be learned. You can't make everyone happy. That's what the Dolphins tried to do last offseason. Because first Jalen Waddle got his contract extension. Okay, because you see he was your number 6 overall pick, and through his first 3 years, 1,000 yards every season, and he fits the offense, and he's developing well. So yeah, you want to lock him in before the price of wide receivers goes up a lot. So you go and get that contract done at what was a reasonable cost at the time. Now you got to get Tua extended. So before early in that training camp, you get him the contract extension. Then, now Tyreek Hill says, hey, everyone else is getting money, and so I want my guarantees added to my contract. The year's already on there. So, all right, we'll make you happy too. We go ahead and give you that. Jalen Ramsey gets his contract extension right before week 1 last year because now all of a sudden, after free agency and the offseason, he was no longer the highest paid cornerback. All right, we'll make you the highest paid cornerback again, so we'll give you this contract extension. Mike McDaniel, you've gotten us to 2 straight playoff appearances, and we're dishing out all this money to these players. We want to also extend your contract. And then all of that breaks down in one season, and everyone that you tried to make happy has either now let you down or has voiced that they want it out. So in Tyreek Hill, both. In Tyreek Hill, both he has let you down with his play last season, and he voiced he wanted out. Gone back.
Yeah, but you know what?
But
there's another story there in that one. That there was a rift in that building. Okay, there are people that did not want to guarantee this final year that they did now, and so it's interesting how they weren't going to do it, and then they changed their mind, and a lot of the stuff that you're talking about it just smells of Mike McDaniel, politicking all over the place for players, and because he's too much of an advocate for players and he gives people too many second and third chances. And it just smells of that. I don't have any proof. I don't have any proof whatsoever of that. But I do have proof on this. I know for a fact there was a rift in that building about guaranteeing what they did to Tyreek. There were people in the building that did not want to do it. So when they did it, and now they've paid the price for it now, because they could have been ridden of him, and they would have had some cap space too, which would have helped out. That's an issue there in that place right now. It's and I think it comes. That's where my guess comes. The Mike McDaniel soft approach has been kind of a disease for this team, to be quite honest.
That's honestly a fair assumption to make. And I too wouldn't have any solid evidence or proof of Mike McDaniel being the one to spearhead all those efforts, but it would fall in line with his personality and just some of his core principles of being just a guy for the players. It's one of the things that made him great through the assistant coaching ranks, and then quickly getting through being an offensive coordinator just one season before he grew into a head coach. But then also sort of something that once you're in that head role, maybe you need to temper a little bit and just bring it down a notch and realize that now you have a bigger focus than just the guys that you coach in your position group and going all out for them and giving them every extra opportunity. And there's a bigger picture to see when you're in that head job. So I could see that. And then also, like we've mentioned in the previous show, then that's also on Chris Grier to, if he's hearing it from Mike McDaniel, and he's got to then at some point be the adult in the room and cut off some of what McDaniel wants in giving out all these contracts and making everyone happy. Just, you've got a cap to manage and a roster to manage, and then you have to marry those two things into something that allows you to operate, and you have to be able to find when you can make those moves and when you got to say, no, sorry, this is where I draw the line.
All right, man. So what are you selling here? Because you certainly can't sell hope here, right? Or because I haven't been selling hope at all for this season. I've been telling folks I expect a bad season, and the peak of it is going to be the game in Spain, because it's a novelty playing in Spain against the Bengals. Hopefully, it'll be a fun game, and that's about it. To be quite honest, I don't know how you can expect anything from this team this year. I got to be honest. I don't give a shit what the draft brings. What are you going to do? You're going to tell me you're going to pick up like 7 Pro Bowlers in the draft? Oh, okay, well, maybe you got a shot. But, to ask a bunch of rookies to all of a sudden step up and help carry you, that's so unrealistic. What are we selling the Dolphins for the 2025 season?
Yeah, I would imagine when Chris Grier gets up and speaks later today, it will be that saying that the team is still trying to win now, but at the same time is putting new pieces together. And that's just, it's a tough sell, honestly. So if you're really looking at it objectively, so I would say realistically then, you just want in this season that some of those young pieces start to show some promise, and you're not judging it so much anymore on whether they get a playoff win. I think that part is kind of passed you by. You knew you had that window, and then you tried to maybe extend it another year after that and say, okay, maybe they could do it in 2025, maybe in 2026 if it's this and that. But it's just hard to envision that part of it. It's a huge bonus if somehow it turns into that. But it's hard to envision the way it's all constructed right now and the way it's looking and the exodus of veteran talent. So I would just say you're hoping that some of those young pieces start to show some promise, and And between last year's draft class, the one that's coming in this year, maybe with even more pieces in the draft, because if you trade Jalen Ramsey, and maybe if you also end up trading Tyreek Hill, you end up with some more draft picks. But you need to hit on some of those, and then that's kind of what you're hoping for, is that you see some promise that leads you to some sense of belief for the years down the road after this.
By the way, Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646. If you're dealing with bankruptcy issue, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, Jeff and Dan, you can call them. The consultation's completely free, 954-966-4646. We appreciate them. They're big sponsors of this platform and of this segment. All right, brother, so what's the most important question you've got to ask Chris Grier today?
I would say it is getting that answer on what this 2025 season is right now. Do you call it? Do you stand here and admit now we are now going through a rebuild, call it at least a soft rebuild, or are you going to go up there and try to sell that you are trying to win now still, even as Jalen Ramsey, your best player? I would say that.
One of your three best players. One of your three best players, let's say.
Sure, yeah. It now wants out. And Tyreek Hill has said he wants out and maybe gone back and forth on that. And a lot of that veteran core is now starting to wither away. So I don't know what he calls this offseason, everything that has transpired going into 2020.
You have to say two of your three best players have won out. One, you're already exploring a trade. The other one, you're having issues with. A leader like Calais Campbell does not return. You know, how
a leader
like
Toronto retires.
Yeah, well, but I mean, that guy needed like knee replacement. So I'm not even going to mention Tehran. I think the Calais Campbell one is. I'd never expect. They knew he wasn't coming back. By the way, they knew he wasn't coming back. But anyway, whatever. But the Calais Campbell one is bad because, see, the whole thing is, if you actually prove you can win and won a playoff game or two in the last couple of years and you were a different team, I think you would have more players on board and willing to do it. I think what you're seeing is a remnants of people saying, yeah, this ain't going to work, bro. And they've been a part of it. And, whatever, they'll respectfully, Calais will leave. Jalen's doing it as respectfully as possible. He's not doing it in public. He went behind the scenes, obviously him and his agent. So, it is what it is. But, dude, it's hard to sell something when whatever team you build this year is not better than the last 2 years. So how can Dolphins expect anything from this team?
Yeah, I'm with you. The only way is you get a fully healthy season from Tua. You also don't get ravaged by injuries at basically every other position, which was the story of 2023, the 1 year that Tua did make it through fully healthy. So it would take a lot to align, and then you probably need some luck elsewhere with one of those top competing teams having a quarterback go down. Like I remember 2 years ago, that was a huge thing. How so many teams, Joe Burrow went down for the Bengals, and there was a Justin Herbert injury for the Chargers, and there's probably a few others. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I remember it was a huge year of all these quarterback injuries, and you would need a lot to sort of fall in line for it to happen, and for the running game to get back together, for Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and Tua to get back to what they were before with Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane. Also, it would just have to be like a perfect storm of everything that you have right now. But other than that, I wouldn't get your hopes up.
All right. Can I be 25 and a 6-pack? Is that, can you throw that in there too now? Just, throw me back to 25.
Can you be 25?
Yeah. No, I mean, now you're asking for all of that. Please throw in there, make Big O 25 with a 6-pack. That's all. That's it. That's all. Okay. My wife will become a cougar, and so, so she'll be happy. You know what I'm saying? So, if we're all going to throw all that in there, anybody else got some wishes out there? You want to add in there? Because we could just pile it on, baby.
That's why it feels very unlikely, and it's coming to an end. This window that they had, and now you got to look for the future.
Dude, I've had so many Dolphins DM me, email me. Oh, please don't be so negative. Give them a chance. Maybe they'll surprise you. You've given up on the season already. I'm like, bro, what do you want me to do? I'm just not going to lie to you people. I'm not going to bullshit you because I'm trying to get clicks or views. I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, man. I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel here. And the worst part about our conversation, just like you, just like the rest of us, where are they going? What's the direction? Because you're really not about winning, because this is not about winning this year. And so then you've already found out who this coach is for another year. Where are you going into next year? Are you making changes? And then the new changes, will they like some of the players and not like other players? And, oh my God. And it's just.
Yeah. Hey, crazier things have happened, but even at the height of everything going right for them, it still feels like the ceiling would be to either number 6 or number 7 as a wild card, and you go out in the first round easily on the road. That still feels like the ceiling. That is like the
the ceiling is Michael Jordan.
The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Michael, for everything else in his life, he shot for the stars. But unfortunately for these fucking guys, the roof is the ceiling. No, asshole, there are stars in this universe. We can shoot a lot farther, but so I guess we've got Michael Jordan's, standards for like losers, the ceiling. So that's it. So that's all we've got. You're telling me the roof is we can't even make it to the attic. I mean, we probably would just make it to like the what's that called? What's the name of the drop ceiling? We're only going to make it to the drop ceiling. Is probably what it is. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Terrible. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel? Recap of the Greer press conference. Is he delaying it? Is he canceling it? Because if I'm him, I wouldn't even hold the damn press conference.
No, I woke up this morning to the news kind of feeling like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, like it's aligned with, all right, this is the big unveiling of the news. When it's a 7 a.m. on the dot release of it, like Ian Rappaport was on it and then probably was asked to hold it until the day that Chris Greer is going to speak, and then he's going to address everything today. So that's kind of the indication I got that this was like by design. But yeah, so it'll be recapping that. I also threw up my mock draft yesterday. Now with this Jalen Ramsey news, I might already need to put out a 2.0. But yeah, you can check out my pre-Jalen Ramsey saga.
Is this officially a soft rebuild? Is that what you're labeling it now? Is that what you're going to label it in the paper? A soft rebuild?
That's what I would label it as. It's because you still got pieces of the core that you're trying to stick around with and win with, but then you've got so much young talent coming in to replace the veteran exodus. So it is at least a soft rebuild. Like, you're still trying to win with this team, but you're not just blowing it all up. So that's how I would label it.
Yeah, I would look at it too. All right. Follow him on Twitter, David Furones _, and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week. Should be plenty to add.
Should be a doozy.
All right. Be good.
Yes, sir.
You got it. There you go. And of course, Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayon, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayon can help.
Wow, man, This is messed up. Remember, folks, you can support our show many ways, visiting our great sponsors like Welton Rayon, right? Like Canes, where you can get 10% off. Use our code BIG010. But, of course, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can also make a Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or Chainlink donation, because Venmo, you can now make all four of those. So any of those, you can make a donation also. And remember, you can also make a donation on PayPal for those of you that are out of the country to help our platform survive and grow. And, of course, I'm not a phony. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't have I have no hope for this season. Okay? And Jalen Ramsey just backed me up, like he sees what I see, what maybe some of you out there, because there's a lot of you out there that live in reality with me. And, there's some of you that don't want to live in reality and you refuse, like the ones I get on DM. And I'm not that guy. I love my Dolphins. Am I going to stop watching? Hell no, dude. I'll watch all the preseason games, all that kind of. I told you I'm not going to training camp this year. And I've gone for years. I'm not going. I'm not bothering. I'm not wasting my time. And I'm not going to go to sweat and be hot and be uncomfortable for no fucking reason. It's going to be a disaster of a year. This is why. So I'm not going to lie to you people. If I have hope for them, I'll tell you, hey, I have hope. I rented an Airbnb in the last 2 Super Bowl locations just in case. If, the stars align for us, because I thought, okay, but the roster is going to take a couple steps back this year. And you have a terrible coach. Let's be honest. And now Jalen Ramsey, this is the ultimate right here. Because I told you over and over again, there will be no Tyreek trade. They're not trading anybody. They are not going to do that, because then you start a reset, because you will kill your cap space. Now Ramsey is forcing that issue. So those of you that wanted to get rid of people, well, this is like a snowball now. And it started with Calais and Teron and Reggie McKenzie and all of that, whether people want to believe it or not. And anybody else that could get out got the hell out. Javon Holland was happy to freaking leave this place. Happy. Yeah, did he go to a great team right now? No, not at all. But in the end, he wanted to get out of here because he knew it. And I've been trying to explain to you, I've told you guys over and over again, a bunch of people in the building know they're screwed with that guy. But they have no choice. They're also under contract, and they all got to, save face and play the game and all that. But there are coaches, there are front office people, there are scouts. I don't really know people in the training department and all that, but and then those people don't worry that much. But the people that are going to be affected by every time you make change, they're all super nervous because they see it from inside. And Jalen Ramsey just sent a message to every Miami Dolphins fan in the world. This place is a disaster, and I'm getting the hell out of here. That coach has no idea what he's doing. And I am not going to waste my time playing here for this loser. I don't have much left. I need to use it somewhere where it's productive, not somewhere where I'm going nowhere. And that's the problem with our Miami Dolphins. They're not going anywhere. There's no direction right now because, come on, dude. You need a coach that creates direction. They don't have one. Mike McDaniel is a freaking joke, dude. That's what this says. All of this says that the culture in that place, and I'm telling you, they did not want to guarantee that money to Tyreek. There were a bunch of people in that building that did not want to do it. And the only person I could possibly think that has enough power and influence and can be enough of a nag is Mike McDaniel. Again, it falls on the front office. It doesn't matter. While Mike McDaniel and Brian Flores are bad hires and I don't agree with them, it ends up falling, unfortunately, in the front office. So they will pay the price for all of that. It's in the end, it's their decision. But McDaniel, to me, they just hired the wrong coach, man. Unfortunately, they just hired the wrong coach, and he ruined this window. I think you would have gotten more out of it. I think if you had a really good coach, you would have won a playoff game or two. Not the Super Bowl, not the AFC or anything, but I think you would have won a playoff game or two with a real coach. With a real coach that would have given everybody direction, would have built the real line, would have given a shit about running, that would have protected everybody, maybe even kept Tua upright a little bit more so he doesn't have to do all the stupid shit he does. It's ridiculous. It's frustrating. The Omega Home Realty Group, baby, we got to talk about Osmani Garcia. And how about this? If there's a guarantee that he's going to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he's going to buy it. And we're talking about no excuses, no delays, no fine print games, none of that, folks. Okay, so if you're serious about selling your home and you need to make a move for it anywhere in the state of Florida, call my guy, Osmani Garcia, 305-440-1990. All right, see if your home qualifies. Call Osmani right now. Tell him that Big O sent you. So it's not just South Florida. If you're on the West Coast, if you're in the Gold Coast, you're anywhere in Central Florida, out in the Panhandle, call Osmani Garcia. Tell him that Big O sent you. Trust me, good people. I've known him for over 15 years. He's a man of his word. If he tells you he can get it done, trust me, he'll get it done. 305-440-1990. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Stephen Baker on Venmo. Thank you, sir, for the love. Says, I'm approaching this season with expectations of a top 5 pick next year. Not going to stress over inadequate and incompetent leadership. You know, Stephen, I love that attitude. That's the way I'm going to look at it, too. I'm expecting a shitty season. Okay? It is what it is. If you guys happen to surprise me, dude, I'm going to watch anyways. I'm going to root anyways. I freaking love my Dolphins. So if you're going to come through, then okay, great. I didn't expect the 2003 Marlins to win the World Series. And by the way, at the beginning of May, you didn't even think they had a chance to even come close to a playoff position. And starting in May, they were the hottest team in Major League Baseball from May to the end of the season. Nobody was hotter. They turned around, they fired their manager in the middle of the year. You know, so wild shit can happen. I've been a part of it. Okay. In 83, none of us thought that the Miami Hurricanes were going to beat Nebraska and win their first national championship and start what they became. None of us. We were super happy with Jim Kelly making it to the Peach Bowl. Okay? Peach Bowl. I know because I lived it. So I've watched those seasons that come out of nowhere and even end up in a championship, and it's fun. Okay, you want to do that, Dolphins? Dude, I welcome it. You're going to tell me that your draft class ends up, awesome, and McDaniel, the light goes on or some shit, fine, please. Impress me. Shock me. As Kiss would say, shock me. Do it. I'd love it. Okay? But I'm not expecting it. I'm with my man here, Stephen Baker. I'm expecting a terrible season. All right, we'll get a good draft pick. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. All right. Ho Yoon, your generosity is absolutely breathtaking, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your Venmo again this week. I appreciate you immensely. That is just, wow. Thank you, sir. Thank you. What else do we have here? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Use the QR codes, and you can also make a donation through PayPal. Appreciate that as always. Wow. Very frustrating. Very frustrating what's going on. And we have to live through this bullshit again. By the way, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. The amazing Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Custom printing and embroidery. The Panthers last night lose to the Rangers, whatever, 5-3. Tuesday, they wrap it up in Tampa Bay at 7:30, and then they'll start the series, and we'll start the playoffs and move on. Let's get to the playoffs, baby. Let's get to the playoffs. Just let's not lose anybody important. That's all I care about right now. Once they get into the playoffs, that's when I measure them. Wednesday, we'll start the play-in for the Heat. Tonight, we're all Grizzlies fans. Warriors, Grizzlies. We're all rooting for Memphis here. These are the things I have to look forward to. But whatever. Wednesday, by the way, tomorrow night, the Heat and the Bulls, 7:30 for the play-in. Miami 0-3 versus the Bulls. We'll see if they don't choke here. U.S. Open Cup also on Wednesday night, 7:30. Miami FC is visiting Indy 11. Good luck to Miami FC on Saturday at 4:30. Inter Miami's back in action on the road in Columbus. And then at 5 o'clock for Lauderdale United, the ladies are on the road taking on Dallas Trinity FC. And Dolphin cornerback Jalen Ramsey has asked for a trade. The Dolphins will try to accommodate Ramsey. Please don't believe any part of the report that says mutual. There's not one part of that is mutual. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. If your company, your corporation needs custom printing and embroidery, please call Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443, and tell him that Big O sent you. Man of 1,005 holds. Thank you for this super chat. It's Groundhog's Day for this organization. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think that's the only super chat there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. John Padillo, Big O, let them trade Ramsey. Can't have that in the locker room. I'm still going to Spain. Well, we're hoping to go to Spain. Hopefully you guys can help us go to Spain. At least we can cover it. I would love to meet Dolphins, Spanish Dolphins. Of course, I'm going to meet some of you guys out there, but that'll be cool. Plus, it'll be the first time we get to broadcast from there's a Dolphins bar in Spain. So, you know our job here on this platform, no matter how much our Dolphins suck, is to broadcast from as many Dolphin bars in the world. And we're lucky that there's actually Dolphin bars all over the world. We've been to a whole bunch here in the United States already, from sea to shining sea. Seattle, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Flagler Beach by Daytona, obviously down here in South Florida, Manhattan. Oh, where else, Sean? A couple of other places. Anyway, So we've broadcasted from Buffalo, a Dolphins bar in Buffalo. So we've broadcasted from several Dolphins bars in the United States. We have yet to broadcast from one Dolphins bar outside of the United States. So you guys can get us there by using that QR code and making any kind of donation that you can make. We'd appreciate it immensely, dude. And please smash the hell out of the like button. It's very important you smash the hell out of the like button. By the way, draft coverage for you. I promised you. I'm not going to fail you. Wednesday, tomorrow, Charles Davis will join us from the NFL Network. Eric Galco will join us, a friend of mine for, 15 years plus, 20 years. Optimum Scouting, and obviously he runs the East-West Shrine Game. Tony Pauline is going to join us on Thursday. Benjamin Albright will join us on Friday. I'm trying to add somebody else, but I am going to give you, like I promised you, a few guys who we can go a little bit on the draft and talk on the draft and all that. Even though I don't really have a lot of hope for this, I have no hope for this season, to be quite honest. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch. I'm going to root. I'm going to cover it. I'll give you any news I can give you on the team. All the normal things. But I'm not going to blow any smoke up your ass. Okay? I'm not doing that. I don't bullshit you people. You know what I mean? I know writers will have to try to write something to keep you hanging on and all that, and Dolphin-centric sites will worry that if they're too negative, then there's nothing to watch or listen to or whatever. Our platform doesn't rely on one sport. We don't rely on one topic. We don't rely on one type of thing to talk about. We talk about a variety of things here. So we could be talking about music, and could be talking about anything else, entertainment, you name it, or any other sport going on, whatever, or crypto or what, which, by the way, we're messing around with 86,000 now, huh? Bitcoin going up. David G has become my mantra. When asked who I root for, I'm a long-suffering Dolphins fan. David G, that is very accurate. That's who we are. True Fin Fan says the 25-26, 5-12 Meteor is well on its way and dead set on collision course with our beloved Miami Dolphins. I welcome it. Can't do anything about it, so I accept my fate as a fan. Thank you. Exactly. Let's expect the worst, hope for the best. That's all. It's it's all we really can do, So that Slick Rick, I don't know. I've heard that Slick Rick mention. I have no idea what it is. All I know is that over the weekend, I got the DM stuff on trade Ramsey. I'm like, yo, bro, they're not going to trade Ramsey. They can't afford to do it. Now, somebody must have known something that Ramsey's camp was asking out. That's very interesting. So I don't know who Slick Rick is. It might be some burner account for an agent or a player or something. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. That's been mentioned to me a couple times on DM. And I'm like, yo, there's no way Greer and McD are trading Ramsey or anybody else. They can't afford to do it. I keep telling you guys this. That's the amazing part about all of this. And the load of shit that they're selling you that this is mutual. There's no mutual in this bullshit. It's mutual that they want to lose $9 million of cap space by making this trade? No, it's not mutual. What, are we stupid or something? Are you stupid to believe that? There's nothing mutual about this shit. Ramsey sees it's dying. It's the freaking Titanic, and he wants off. So you think and before he wanted off, I was already off. Remember, I fired McDaniel after the Colts game. That's the post game. You could go to that post game. I said, I'm firing him now, and I'm going after Vrabel if I run this team. That's just me. That's just me. I said it. That's what I would have done at that moment. And they didn't do it. So now Vrabel's in New England, and we're stuck with this deadbeat for one more year. So am I supposed to sell you that we're going to turn the corner? This is our year. Come on, dude. Come on, man. All right, what are we, 12? Yeah. So I don't know what the Slick Rick thing is, Jensen, but whatever it is, they must have had some connection to the Ramsey camp that they knew he was disgruntled and talking to the team about wanting the hell out of here. So wherever that came from, nice job. Nice job. Or good guess. I don't know which one it is. I have no idea, but I know that whatever that is, a Slick Rick thing, you guys have mentioned it to me in the DMs. Because that's what I went off on. Like, yo, you guys got to stop. Oh, trade Tyreek. They don't want to do that. They can't. It's basically murder for it's they're already cooked in my eyes because they're not going to win. But the more you trade people, the less you can get better, and they're really like hanging themselves. This Jalen Ramsey thing is a double whammy. He wants out, and this literally them. Okay? Literally F's them like hard. This is a blow, dude. Body blow. Let's see. Ross always waits 1 year too long. With Greer, it's like 10 years too late, says Blue Mule. John Padilla says, Big O, do you know the location for the Dolphins bar in Spain? No, not yet, because I'm waiting to make more progress on the donations and everything to make it look like it's realistic that we're going to go. I already have the gentleman in Spain to talk to. NorCal has already hooked me up. I don't want to waste a man's time yet. So I want to make sure that we can go, but so far right now, we're not even close to our goal. So I don't want to waste a man's time. But yes, there is a Dolphins bar there. I can find out the information. I'll find out for you. Okay. I'll find out and ask. Yes, sir.
You were talking about dead money. Barry Jackson, sent out, I find this stunning, but if Ramsey is traded for a 2025 draft pick, both sides are trying to get a deal done, then Miami will be allocating 17% of its valuable 2025 cap space simply on 3 cornerbacks who won't be on the team, a combined $46.3 million. Sobering indeed.
That's why I keep telling you, they cannot trade anybody. So every time you guys bring up trade, no, they cannot do it. They won't do it. This is forced by him. And because he's not a loser like Tyreek, you might be able to take a pick and you have no choice. But your shit is sinking. They know it in the building. They have to save face. And, it's like the whole Heat thing. They never, ever say die. You know what I mean? But they're going to try to do it. But, if there's some of you out there that still didn't know that this was going to be a disaster, well, now you know. Now you know. Pat in Asheville, breaking news. Miami Dolphins new locker room message, final destination 25. Now it's personal. If we're doing a soft rebuild, would we take BPA to build for the future? Brother, I don't know what they're doing right now, Jonathan. There's no method to the madness right now. So Chuck Cooper says, God bless you for even wasting your day thinking about this sad-ass franchise. I wouldn't spend a dime going to see Spain to watch this catastrophic team. I'm not investing anything in this season. Chuck, I don't blame you, brother. Now I do a job here. So, is the Dolphins my identity and my whole being and all? No, brother, when the show is off, I got my wife, I got my beautiful daughter, I got my lovely dogs, I got 4 awesome dogs. I'm working on my health, and I'm, even though I've had a couple of roadblocks, I've made a shit ton of progress. I go to concerts. I just saw right now the Struts and Dirty Honey are coming. I love it. I'm going to that. You know what I mean? So I got AC/DC coming up. I got Metallica coming up. I got Morrissey coming up. You know what I mean? I'm going to Panama in the summer for 9 days. My life is good, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not this person that's going to, surround myself with dolphins. And that's my life and live and eat and breathe and all that. No, dude, I'm not doing that for any sports team anymore. Not doing any of that shit. But we'll talk about it. We'll give you any news, any insight. We'll give you any perspective that we have on it. And we'll talk about the Heat and the Marlins and the Panthers. Well, not the Marlins, but the Panthers and Inter Miami and then sports in general, and then life and economy and crypto. And, Bitcoin plays a much bigger part of my life than the Dolphins ever will at this point. Way more important in my life than the Dolphins ever will be. So I'm with you, dude. I'll watch. It's my job to follow it and to talk and try to walk you people off the ledge and give you the real perspective on it, at least from what I see it. Doesn't mean I'm always right, of course. But, man, but I'm not going to bullshit you people. I'm not here because I'm a Dolphin-centric site, and I want to keep you on edge. No, dude, I'm not doing that shit. No. So, I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. LB, good morning, brother. Which organization do you think is worse, Fins or Marlins? No, Marlins, bro. The Marlins don't even try. They don't spend any money, LB. It's a stupid comparison. Okay? It's a stupid comparison. The Dolphins spend a crap ton of money. The owner brings the F1 race, brings concerts, that spends on any player that you need. They try, bro. They try. The Marlins please don't. The Marlins are the worst organization in the history of South Florida, and it's by miles. They are deceiving and purposely incompetent. They are stealing money. And if you follow the Marlins, all you are is an enabler of a thief. The Dolphins are incompetent, but they're not cheap. They do everything and anything to try to win. They spend. It's just they don't know how to spend, but they spend. So at least you'll have some moments. And I get it. When the Marlins won their titles, which is what everybody could bring up, bro, please don't be stupid and ignorant. That was all done by one guy in Dave Dombrowski. He won both titles. He built the 97 team, and in the 98 fire sale, he got everybody pretty much outside of Pudge, Pierre, Redmond, and Urbina. That's about it. Maybe another middle reliever, something like that. Everything else was brought up by Dombrowski. So in one fell swoop, Huizinga won 2 titles. That's it. Wasn't Loria. Huizinga and Dombrowski, the greatest GM in my 58 years on this earth. That's the greatest GM in baseball history in my 58 years. By miles. It's not even close. What he did in Montreal, what he did at Detroit, what he did here, what he's doing, what he did at Philadelphia. I mean, it's stupid. It's just stupid what that man has done. Okay, so the Marlins are the most disgusting franchise in the history of mankind. They stole tax money to build that stadium and then sold that money and banked it. Not the taxpayers, the owner banked it because we're stupid. So, and then this clown spends no money whatsoever. So please never compare the Marlins, who are flat out thieves, to anybody. They all try at least. Dolphins don't know what the hell they're doing, but they try. They give a shit. They care. They really want to win. They don't know how to do it, but they really want to win. You can hate Stephen Ross, but man, that guy gives a shit. He wants to win. He does everything and anything first class. Does he know how to put the right people in place? He has not figured that out. But God bless the man. He does try. So I'm not going to do that. And I would never insult him by putting him next to a guy like Bruce Sherman, who walks around with fucking rabbit ears. Do you know what rabbit ears are? Here's Bruce Sherman. Here's my what's it called? Wait a minute. My impression of Bruce Sherman. Let me take out my wallet. Here you go. Right here, this way. Let me get the mic out of the way. All right. Here's fucking Bruce Sherman. Right here. There. You see that? You see that? Rabbit ears? Huh? That's Bruce Sherman. Right there. That's what he's walking around with. That's what that fucking clown is walking around with. Rabbit ears. I ain't got no fucking money. So please, dude, please. You know, it sounds cute, LB. Sounds really cute, but it's insulting. Okay? The Marlins are thieves. And you people that go to Marlins games, you're nothing but enablers. You tell him it's all right to be a loser and not spend any money. So please never, ever, 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 ever compare the Marlins to any organization in town. All they do is steal money. That's all they do. And lie to people. Let's see. Got a call from Belglade, Florida. Wow. I'm sure it's some kind of sales call, but it's interesting because I was born in Belglade, Florida. All right, what else? Let's see. Yeah, I definitely not. I would not. Alex, I never expected this to ever happen from the team side. There's no way they would trade Ramsey. This is all coming from Ramsey. Never expect this. Never. I already talked about that. No way I would ever expect this. They would never do it. They're going to lose $9 million of cap space. Makes no sense. That's why I keep telling everybody they can't trade Tyreek. They can't trade Ramsey. They can't trade any of those guys. Now, if Jalen Ramsey wants out, well, that's a whole different ballgame now. They're screwed now. Too many distractions off the field. Man of 1,005 holds. I don't believe in any of that. Okay? So why the Panthers win, dude? Same distractions. They live here. How come that organization does everything top to bottom the right way? And the Dolphins can't? How come the Heat win titles and they're a winning organization? The distractions are there, dude. Listen, dude, I love Omar Kelly. I do. Okay. He might think at times I pick on him a little too much, but I've heard him say that shit. I was driving and I was listening to Joe and him the other day. I think it was like a week or 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about, oh, Joe, there's too many distractions, bro. Omar's full of shit. Okay. And so are you, man of 1,005 holes. Just so you know, you're both full of shit. Okay. Miami Heat organization has been top to bottom amazing. And they've had all kinds of players and they've won all throughout in this environment. The Panthers have now developed the culture since Viola and Sifu took over, and they're in this environment, my brother. Okay? Inter Miami, they had the best record in the league last year. I know they didn't get it done in the playoffs, but I'm not going to call it because of the environment, because Messi's a complete family guy. Okay? Either you're a mature and you're a professional, no matter what the environment is, or you're a punk and you're an idiot and you can't be a professional. So anybody that tells you man of 1,005 holds or Omar Kelly that distractions, that's a load of shit. Okay? That means your organization isn't good enough to build culture, because the Raiders are a freaking disaster, but the Aces are the best team in the WNBA and win back-to-back titles with Asia Wilson leading the way. Okay? But the Raiders are going to be a disaster whether they're in LA, whether they're in Oakland, whether they're in Las Vegas, because since the old man got old and then passed away and now Buckethead takes over or Bullhead takes over, you've been a disaster. Doesn't matter what city you're in. Doesn't matter what's around the streets. It's a bunch of shit, dude. It's a load of shit. Either you create the right culture and the right organization, or you don't. And that's what's going on. Period. End of story. Anybody that tells you that is making excuses, and it's a lazy ass approach. We clear there, man of 1,005 holds? Love you, but you're so fucking way off. You're so way off, you're in Omar zone. That's off. When you're in Omar zone, you're off. Let's see. Dombrowski in Detroit was awesome. Shame we never won the World Series with him. I still want the Marlins to do well. Miami should be a great baseball market. Yeah, but we don't have a good owner, Chucky. We don't have no owners. We needed Moss, but he bought the soccer team. And I told Moss years ago when he did it, dude, in the end, this is going to be great for you because you got it at such a low price, and it's going to be worth a couple billions down the line because soccer has way more room to grow. Baseball doesn't have nearly as much room to grow. In fact, what it might do is go backwards more than anything else, because baseball doesn't grow with the youth. Soccer does. Soccer can get bigger. So it ended up, as much as he wanted baseball and that family wanted baseball, fiscally, it's going to work out better for him to own the MLS team. You'll see. 20 years from now, oh my God, it's not even close. Let's see. Brian says, I'm glad O didn't pull his pants down. No. That's not where you find the bunny rabbit. Anyway, what do you think the Dolphins can get for Ram? Dude, I don't know. You know, at first I even mentioned a second with David. Not even that. I think they'd be lucky to get a third. You know, maybe 2 4s, a third, maybe a 4 and 2 5s or something. I don't know. They're not going to get much. They're just not going to get much because somebody has to have the $21 million in cap space. Not a lot of people have that, and they're going to have to make it. And will they have to extend him to kind of create more money for more space for it? Then that becomes, we can't give you that high of a pick. So you're giving him away practically. This is a disaster. This trade would never, ever happen on behalf of the team. They cannot afford it. So this is all Ramsey, bro. This is bad. This is such a bad look. What else? The Panthers have been carrying this town for the past 3 years. It's their time. Amen, Magic City Enterprise. Amen. And we should celebrate the Panthers. And you can go to Caneswear and celebrate the Panthers. They got all kinds of gears, hat, shirts, jerseys, whatever, man, flags for the car, and use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off. Caneswear.com. And if you order over $100, over $99, you'll get free shipping. And they send it out right away. So check them out. Let's see. If I'm Ramsey, I asked to go to Washington, a team on the fast track to winning a Super Bowl with Daniels. It's not what you ask for. It's who has space. You know what I'm saying? You really, if you're Ramsey, you ask for a trade. That's all you get. You really can't also get accommodated too, because first Washington may not even have the space for him, so they can't even get him. I don't even know if they need him or not. I have to go look at their situation. They may not even need him, dude. I don't even know, to be quite honest. I'd be lying to you. But first they have to have the space, my brother, to take him and willing to do it. And let me tell you something. The only teams that are going to take Ramsey are going to be a team that they feel they're like a Ramsey away. And that really cuts the list down to only a few. He and his agent must have done some homework before this to see, is there a possibility that if you asked where to go, all right, let me make a phone call, let me plant a seed. So maybe there's something in the works too, in that sense. Let's see what else. One-Eyed Jack says the worst part of all of this is that the front office looks like they have no plan and just flying. Yeah, no, basically. Yes, it does look like there's no plan. I can't argue that, dude. There's no rhyme or reason to. That's what I've been saying is, what are we doing? Where is this going? Because there's no future here with that coach. And this is a dead year. So what are we doing? And then next year you have to deal with more. You made your run. You had your window and it closed. Now you have to reset to reopen the window, and that's going to take a couple of years to do that. So what are we doing? Are you keeping the same people around, or are you making changes? So then where are we going? And if you run into your friend that somehow is delusional and thinks that this is going to be a good thing, I'm sorry, man. Valid Hopscotch. Some new names here that I've never seen. During 20-year drought, maybe just new on the chat, or maybe you've watched and never chatted. During 20-year drought, Buffalo was a shithole with nothing to do. Now that we beat you guys, it's because there's no distractions. Nah, Valid, that's a load of shit, dude. That distraction stuff doesn't fly anywhere. Okay? That's a weak excuse by fans or media. Okay? I don't know who else, but I literally heard Omar say it on Joe's show. Like a week or 2 weeks ago, I was in the car. It was one of our, might have been, when was it? Was it last week that we were at somewhere almost every day, or the week before? The week before. Okay. One of those mornings, I got in the car.
Last week. It was last week. I got in the car and I heard Omar with that bullshit distraction crap. And I'm driving in the car. I'm like, bro, you're lucky you're not on with me. Because Joe didn't use the Heat. You know, he just didn't. He just like, what about the Panthers? What about the Heat? Like, come on, dude. Either you got a good organization or you don't. Period. Doesn't matter where you're at. The Rams have success, and they're in Los Angeles. The Rams won and tore it down and winning now again. And, and they're in L.A. Giants have won a couple of Super Bowls. I know they're kind of a shit show right now, but they've won. The Jets, do you think the Jets have sucked for all this time because of distractions? No, dude. Yeah, New York's loaded with distractions. They suck because they suck. Okay? So anybody that uses distractions, that's a weak-ass excuse. Again, the Panthers and the Miami Heat. Checkmate. I just got your king and I just went like that. I flicked it and it went like this. But then again, most of you that use the excuse as distractions, you're probably not smart enough to play chess. Anyway, real talk, how can Greer justify these extensions? He can't. Dude, we're at a point now, nothing can be justified.
the owner, the front office, the head coach, none of it can be justified. Unfortunately, look at the results. Look where we're at. You had your peak opportunity, and now you're on a decline. Those are the facts. Nothing can be defended. Okay? As much as I like the front office guys, nothing has worked for them. So, what are you going to do? And that's why I'm asking, where's the direction? Because this season was already a wash before the Ramsey shit. Now I finally got some of you over on my side. So then, and I'm hopefully, are you coming over to me that the rebuild's 3 years away? Like next year, you have all the other salaries that you have to go through. Then you can start 3 years from now to start kind of the rebuild. You're basically having like we have to steal Furones' line. It's like a soft rebuild over the next 2 years because you have so many fiscal salaries issues that you have to get through and dead cap money that you're going to go through. That's why I'm honest with you people. And I'm telling you, not only does this year suck, there isn't going to be a rebuild till 2 more years from now. It's just, it's disturbing. It's painful. We're going to be, that's, I'm going to give you a bunch of draft stuff over the next couple of days, but again, I don't know what the direction is and what we're doing here, what the end game is, because you can't bullshit me that you're trying to win, because you're not going to win shit with this group, and especially with that coach. Brandon Ortega says, we made a run, it closed, and never won in the playoffs. What a disaster. Can you argue with Brandon Ortega? When the man is right, the man is right. So that's it. Ryan Radke says, theme song for this year's Dolphins, Fire, Water, Burn by Bloodhound Gang. I don't know that song. I got to look it up. I was hoping that I could, play off of whatever tune you had. I can, maybe even have the bad voice whip it out there, and nothing. I don't know that one. Theme song for this. Hey, listen, this year, last year, next year, Iron Maiden does have a song called Wasted Years. I think we could go with that. All right. Leon Fresco, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. Shouldn't Finns take all cap hits? They should. But Leon, again, this is what I told you guys yesterday. We cannot force a rebuild. And my rant from yesterday still stands. Because really, it's not about you and me wanting to trade these people. It's them. And now, all of a sudden, after my rant yesterday, Jalen Ramsey's the guy that has forced this whole thing. And by forcing it, Leon, they're going to lose $9 million of cap space. So think about that. Why would Greer and McKenzie, trying to save their jobs, make a trade to kill $9 more million of cap space, and they can't improve? They lose a player and lose cap space. Not gain any, lose. That's what I keep telling you. They won't do it because they're trying to save their jobs. This is Jalen Ramsey forcing it. So as much as you may want Ross to sell or a rebuild, it cannot happen. This is the only alternative right here, that the player forces it. Now, this is a player, unlike Tyreek, doesn't have baggage. So you might be able to make a move. They're going to try. Doesn't mean it can happen. May not happen, and then he's stuck here. Holy shit. Yes, sir.
Even more numbers to back up what you just said. Barry Jackson sent out trading Jalen Ramsey for a draft pick or picks would raise his Dolphins cap hit from 16.6 to 25.2 if they take the hit this year and leave Miami with only $7 million in space, barely enough to sign a draft class and practice squad, while realistically needing 5 to 8 starters.
I'm telling you, they can't do this. That's why I've been adamant about it. They cannot do a rebuild. They don't want to do a rebuild. This assures them of being fired, which is what you guys want, which is all true, and I get it. I want McDaniel gone too. But they can't do it. This is all on Jalen Ramsey forcing the issue. Like I told somebody on Twitter, this now fast tracks what you guys want to the whole teardown. So what you want, Leon, you got to thank Ramsey for it, because Greer and McDaniel are not going to do it no matter what. They cannot trade people. They just gave out all these contracts. The cap hits are brutal. I've been explaining this for months, because they have one agenda. You have another. You're lucky now that Jalen joined your agenda. You understand now what's going on, okay? I hope I've been trying to explain it. Some of you will get it. Let's see. Big Johnson says all the big money contracts they put out, not even a damn playoff win to show for it. Pathetic. Yeah. LB goes, Big O, I'm just exhausted and done with my Dolphins. Every year they suck. Fans need to abandon them. Just too heartbreaking. Same garbage. I mean, I can't abandon them, but I am pissed. I am frustrated, and I have no hope. So, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain is the theme song, says Greg Chafin. Big O, so since Ramsey wants out, does this mean we have to draft a CB at 13? Let's talk about the draft at 13 now. Everything has changed at 13. Okay? The Miami Dolphins draft pick is actually a can't miss when it comes to pretty much any position. They need everything, dude. They need offensive linemen. They need defensive linemen. They need cornerbacks. They need safeties. They need, if you want a stud running back, not that I would pick, even if the Genty kid falls to me at 13 or if he's there, I really wouldn't pick a running back because that's not going to solve anything for them. But they have so many needs. You could argue, take another quarterback if there's a hot name right now, Dart or whatever, and people will trade for him. You can draft. Since you're not going anywhere, use that. Take the guy and then use it to turn it into more picks or whatever. Your first round pick now can literally be anything, because there is no priority anymore. You have no chance of winning. You don't have the right head coach in place. No one position you draft is going to put you over the top or even into the playoffs anyway. You need so many people that it's almost impossible. It really is nearly impossible to hit on that many draft picks to be impactful this season, to make that kind of a difference. So the beauty of the first round pick this year, thanks to Jalen Ramsey now, since he's added more fuel to the fire, it can be any position and none of us can complain. What are you going to complain? They don't need a corner? What are you going to complain? They don't need a safety? What are you going to complain? They don't need a defensive tackle? What are you going to complain? They don't need a guard? They don't need a tackle? A guy that plays guard and tackle? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. You can get anything. If there's an all-world middle linebacker there that you feel like, oh my God, this guy will make it, you could take him too. You could take any damn position practically on the team, even pass rusher, which you shouldn't because you got 3, but you've got them coming back and they're injury-prone guys. Plus, Chubb, is he here for long? 1 year. Chop had a developmental year. Now you expect him to take the next step. You can go draft another guy. And then when Chubb leaves, that guy takes over. Plus, it's an insurance policy because Chubb is gone in a year, and you don't know if Phillips can stay healthy. Because as much as you and I like Jalen Phillips, respect him, and admire the shit out of his character, determination, fight, everything we love about him. I mean, the guy's just absolutely perfect, except for one thing. Poor guy has dealt with injury after injury. So you're going to tell me that drafting a pass rusher doesn't make sense? Get the hell out of here. So really, the fact that the Dolphins are going nowhere, the fact that they need help everywhere, the fact that Jalen Ramsey has now said, I'm getting the hell out of here, the draft pick at 13 does not matter when it comes to position. They need it all. Interesting. How about that one? All right. By the way, the great people at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, we're going to be broadcasting out there at 16100 Pines Boulevard on the last Wednesday of the month, which happens to be April 30th this month. So the last Wednesday is the last day of the month. We'll be out there starting off at noon. Come on out and join us. We'll have a blast out there. Check out the Cross Tech. We are loaded with Cross Techs. You can get it right now at $239, 3.9% financing. The Forester, $259 a month, 3.9% financing. The Outback Premium, $289 a month, 2.9% financing. The Impreza, been telling you about the Impreza for a while now. And again, if you've got a youngster, okay, because this seems to be a very popular car with the youngsters, because you're only paying $159 a month for a 5-door. 4.9% financing. Check it out. This way, hey, you know, when the youngster's starting with a new car, well, you want a durable car? That's Subaru. You want a reliable car? That is Subaru. And you want something affordable? The Impreza, $159 a month. That's incredibly affordable for you parents out there. The Legacy, beautiful vehicle. Check it out. The sedan is $279 a month, 3.9% financing. You're looking for an SUV, the Ascent Premium, 3.9% financing. So many different selections out there. The Solterra, which I'm looking at myself, love that SUV. Check out the full line. You're going to love the vehicles at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Devin Jordan says, Big O, I'm tired of this roller coaster ride with the Dolphins. It's time to blow it all up and do another rebuild. I get it, bro, but going off my rant from yesterday, we can push all we want. I want McDaniel fired since the Colts game. I want him fired since the Colts game. But what am I going to do, bro? You know, we got lucky that for those of you that want the rebuild like this, like Devin, you got lucky that Ramsey just said, hey, get me out of here. And so we got lucky. But outside of that, and I don't blame Jalen Ramsey at all. I am not doing the dick move now and acting like some mad fan at Ram. I don't blame him, dude. I don't blame him for the situation he's in. He knows he doesn't have much left, and he doesn't want to waste it here. And it is wasting. I look at McDaniel, and it's a waste. He's a waste. He pisses me off, is what he does. Shang Tu Sheng. Oh, Greer's offseason moves show he isn't worried to get fired. He is the GM for life as long as Ross is the owner. Well, look, man, you know I'm a Greer guy. Okay, so I got to go down in flames if he gets it done or he does it. All right. Greer, McKenzie, and Allen. Now McKenzie's gone, unfortunately. So I've been a supporter of theirs. I will admit the coaching stuff has been an absolute disaster. And the odd part, Shang Tu Sheng, that you bring up, because I call it odd. One, you're trying to save your job, but you're not mortgaging a lot towards the future. Now, there's two ways to look at that, Shang Tu Sheng. If you don't believe in Greer, do you want him mortgaging more of the future? No, right? But even if you don't believe in Greer, or if you believe in Greer, the fact that he's not mortgaging the future with his job on the line, if he has that green light, that's pretty big of him. Because it is the responsible thing to do, to kind of take an off year so you could kind of reset. But if you keep extending, and using cap space, it just catches up to you. Like right now, like Jalen Ramsey wants out, and now you're going to lose $9 million of cap space. You know how these people sometimes, especially there are a couple in the media that tell you, oh, the cap's not real. Really, it's not real? How come you're trading a guy now and you're about to lose $9 million in cap space? But I thought the cap wasn't real. I thought you could just roll it over and it's fantasy money and all that. No, dude. Yeah, you can play with it. You can move it like your credit cards. You can move it and all that. You know, you can have one under 15%. And then you found a card you can sign up for at 3.9%, and it gives you a money transfer. And what do? Move it over. And now you move the money over to a lesser. You know what I'm saying? We can play with the money sometimes. People do those kind of things. That's what you do. But in the end, you're going to pay the piper. You will pay the piper. I get it. You have media out there. They're way out there. And the cap doesn't count. No, it doesn't matter. It's phony money. Sure it is, dude. Of course it is. Nah, you never have to pay anything. Anyway, so you have to look at it that way, that, okay, so they're not spending the money. Are they comfortable? Well, no, maybe they're not comfortable. Maybe they know they got to win, but they have to win under these parameters. Too bad. You had your chance to spend the money when you had the picks and the players, and you did it, and you got the wrong coach. And unfortunately now, where are we at? So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because here's the thing, Shang Tu Sheng, okay? It's impossible to keep Mike McDaniel around if you have another mediocre season this coming season. It's impossible to sell it to next year. And then there's a lot of you, it's impossible to sell them Chris Greer moving forward also. So you will now have a group of disgruntled fans that may not renew tickets. You may have people that may be a little pissed and all that. So it's a very fine line that the owner is walking right now. It's a very fine line that the front office and the coach are walking right now. I'm just being honest. Okay? But yeah, I don't know how anybody can feel good about anything long term right now. That's what I would tell you. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see. I think we're watching the Titanic movie again. Yeah, it's already been sinking. Yeah. Can't wait to hear McDaniel talk in circles for 20 minutes about this latest mess. Yeah, the explanation will be a joke. Yeah. McDaniel reminds me of the goofball in high school who acted like a total idiot to get everyone to like him. No discipline, no accountability, nothing. You need someone in there who has a backbone. Amen. And there is no backbone. Castle says, 28 years old, Big O. Been watching the Finns almost all my life. How can I do this for another 30? Put it this way. I know I had the really good years at least, and I was a kid for the best years, but at least I had some of the good ones. But I've been watching this shit for 40 years, bro. 40 years has been garbage, the Dolphins. The Marino years were, fraudulent years. We got Danny to throw a bunch of yards, but they won nothing. And every big moment that Danny was in, the team shit the bed, bro. They were a disgrace. They were a disgrace in the Super Bowl. They were a disgrace the following year against New England, fumbling away the game 4 times. They were a disgrace in the early 90s, getting their asses handed to them by a dominant Bills team. So under Danny, we were a joke, bro. Soft. They'd punch us in the mouth and we'd crawl into a corner. So I've been watching this forever. Danny just hid some of the pain for us because he was so special. But it really had nothing to do with him. It's just, this is the same franchise for 40 years, dude. Soft, can't get it done, mediocre coaching, front office moves don't work out constantly, bad luck, injuries, or Hugh Green injuries, or whatever it is, dude. Throughout life, that's just who we've been for 40 years, dude. I've lived it, man. I've watched it, It's just disturbing is what it is. That's how bad it is. It's so bad, it's disturbing all the crap that we go through. We had a running back that died. Was it a gas station, right? His Mercedes ran into a gas station pump or something and exploded. David Overstreet. The shit that happens to us. Sammy Smith looked like he was going to be all world, bro. He ran over which had like a NFL defense, and he comes to the Dolphins and he's garbage. We get Ricky Williams and we have 2 magical seasons, and then he wants to go smoke dope. The shit that happens to us doesn't happen to anybody, bro. It doesn't matter. It's Danny and Jimmy and Danny. We got to deal with Jimmy Johnson and Dan Marino fighting. Like, seriously? It just, Adam Gase, Cam Cameron. Holy shit. We took Ted Ginn. This is us for 40 years. So I feel for you for your 20-something, but it's 40 years of all this incompetence and pain. Clubber Lang, like pain. Remember, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can send in your comments, your questions, your insults. Maybe even a compliment. Holy shit. Would be nice to get a compliment once in a while there. But you can do that also. Appreciate it as always. Thank you. Frankie Fresco, thank you for the love of the super chat. He says, do you feel the Dolphins will restructure Tues' contract to create cap room? Also, I feel bad for Anthony Weaver. He has to work a miracle this season. Brother, he's like the Marlins. He's just proving enough so he can go get a job somewhere else. Like the Marlins players, you play well enough so you can get traded somewhere else. That's all. No big deal. Do I think they'll restructure Tues' contract? They would have already, but I don't think they will because of the injury-prone nature of his being. They know, okay? They know in the building they can't trust Tua anymore. Okay? Now, they change from one day to another, but that's what I've been told. They know they can't trust him. So if you know you can't trust him, you can't guarantee any more money than you have. And you've got to wait for him to prove that he can stay healthy before you do anything for a extended period of time. Not play 1 year the right way, play a few years the right way, and play at a high level. I don't even know if I have the offensive line to do that, to be quite honest. Don't forget to hit the hell out of that like button, man. We got 119 likes and 227 watching. Thank you, Mountain Man. I appreciate you smashing the like button, sir. Do I think Anthony Weaver should become the head coach? Sure. But again, can he build a staff? I don't know if he's the right guy. I like him, but is he just a defensive coordinator? These are things that I don't know. I like him, but again, I don't know, man. I don't know if it'll work out. Joe thinks that all this says is nothing will change, and Greer's once again safe and doing garbage job. Zachary says, I'm actually convinced Dolphins are going into tank mode now. Going to be a long season and bad season. I don't think they can afford to tank, man. If they go tanking, then that means they're going to come back with that would not be a good one. Luis Dominguez, thank you. Says Big O telling it like it is. Hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate you. Lenny Pena says we've dealt with a lot as a fan base. We thought it would turn around a couple of years ago in 23. It all has turned to crap quickly. Yep. It has. Unfortunately. Sucks, dude. It sucks to be in this position once again. Corso Traven, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. Says Chris Cornell or Eddie Vedder. Okay, what are we talking about? Singer or frontman? If I'm going singer, I'm going Chris Cornell. If I'm going frontman, I'm going Eddie Vedder. Can we live with that? I think I've nailed it, right? Wouldn't you say that Chris Cornell's voice is better than Vedder? Huh? Come on, rockers out there. I think I nailed it. I would say Cornell's the better singer. Vedder is the better frontman. Both great in their own right. Love both. Rest in peace, Chris. But I'm going to say Cornell the better voice. Vedder the better lead singer. That's it. Let's see. Is Gruden a fit for Miami? No, I want nothing to do with John Gruden. By the way, hey, Chuck, name the first quarterback that John Gruden's ever drafted and developed himself. The Mr. Quarterback himself, just out of curiosity. Just wondering. Find them for me. Who did he draft and develop on his own, since he's such a quarterback guru? He knows so much about quarterback. He knows how to eye them and find them and develop them. Who is it? Because when you do find one, it'll be the first one, because he's never had one. So, yeah, I'm not that big a Gruden guy. I think he caught lightning in a bottle, and we're good. It's production. QB school is great. It's great TV production. But as a coach, yeah. So, Mount Men Fishing says Chris Cornell. Zachary Gibbons says I would go Cornell over Vedder. Frankie says Chris Grier knows he is done. Let's see. We never had an answer for Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed. Yeah, no, I know that. Yes, I know that. Pat in Asheville says, you know that Stephen Ross has taken away Chris Grier's corporate black Amex card, right? Yes, and maybe no. See, here's where I disagree with that. you're assuming that Stephen Ross is a smart NFL guy. You're assuming that he actually knows what he's doing. So he would have the foresight, okay, to say, yeah, guys, you made your run and you spent a lot, but I don't want you to spend any extra of the future money because we need that. We're going to put you guys on a pitch count this year. You're assuming he's a smart football person. That's where I got to differ with you on that one, because I've heard that line, Pat, in Nashville. That line's floating around on the social media fronts and media fronts. I've heard media people say, oh, yeah, no, they're taking away Chris Greer's credit card. Yeah, really? So you assume that Stephen Ross knows what he's doing. I don't, because I've watched him with others. But I know that Chris Grier is a decent human being. And he did this a couple of years ago when he had to kind of part of the reset. So I'm wondering, this is also could be self-inflicted. It may not be a Ross thing. It might be a he thing, knowing, shit, we've spent a lot of money. We got to take a year off here and try to do our best with the picks and whatever we have and then overcome. But we're not trading everybody. Oh, shit, Jalen Ramsey wants out. Oh, Tyreek wants. Oh, God. That's what I think is happening. Because if Chris Grier is going to stay long, if he's going to stay on the long approach, he has to take this step too. Because if he goes mortgaging it because he's not going to be here, that's different. So, Pat, that's my only problem with that. My argument will be is you're assuming that Stephen Ross knows what he's doing. And I would never, ever, 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 ever assume that with him when it comes to football. So we will differ, and we will go in two directions on that one, my friend. Let's see. Cornell over Verder. Cocky Kane says, I think most people would take. Now, are you, since most of you pretty much agree with me on Vetter over Cornell, on Cornell over Vetter as a singer, as a frontman, are you with me? Did I not get it right? Vetter is the better frontman. He's the more entertaining frontman. He's going to move the crowd. He's going to work the crowd. He's going to do crazy shit, right? Cornell's not going to do that. So that's where I got to give Vetter a little love that, there's something to that too. Being a performer is that you're also able to move the crowd, you know what I mean, and work it. So I give Vetter, I love Pearl Jam. I would never say anything bad about Pearl Jam or Eddie Vedder, but if I have to compare, Cornell's a better singer, but Vetter, better front man every day of the week and twice on. As much as I'm convinced Cornell's the better singer, the other way goes the same. Vetter's 100 times better. Vetter is better as a front man. Let's see. With so many holes to fill on the roster, wouldn't it be smart to trade back and get more picks? Probably, Devin. Probably. They have 10 already, and they're going to get maybe another 11 or 12 with the Ramsey trade. So, yeah, you never know. Bring in the Texas coach and draft Arch Manning. First, you have to land him. A-Rod, when you say it's deja vu, you don't have to say all over again. Just so you know, it's kind of like an oxymoron. It's deja vu. That's it. That's the definition of it. So, anyway. Ross gonna let Grier oversee the destruction of another rebuild. Zachary says Gruden lucked into the first Super Bowl, taking over the Bucs Super Bowl roster after Dungy ran out of town. Yes, and then the roster only got worse and worse and worse. And he never found the quarterback. He never did anything. So Grier and company blew the entire franchise up. Bad strats. Bad stats or bad contracts and bad players? I don't know what that means. Got the contracts and players. I don't know what bad strats. What does he mean by that one? I don't know. Big O, do you want KD? No, I don't. I never wanted KD. I don't want KD at all. No, that was a conversation we had with Ira, and he brought it up, and he brought up a trade where they gave up nothing. And I go, okay, I get it, but you're not. But as I said to him, you're still not winning shit. You can bring KD here, you're not winning jack shit. Okay, nothing. So it doesn't really matter. Trading for a KD will do nothing for this franchise at all. It'll just make delusional people out there like that crowd of the Heat that they think like they're going to win everything every time and they're going to overcome everything. That delusional crowd, that one right there. Those suckers, unfortunately. Big O, would you trade up to 2 to take a CB wide receiver Hunter? No, sir. I would not. This team needs so much. I would not do that. And I don't think they're going to do anything like that anyways. Zachary says all Ross has proven he can do is renovate a stadium and other stuff off the field. On the field, he tries but can't find the answer. 100% accurate. The man tries, and he's exceptional as an owner that he'll spend. He just, Viola and Sifu took over, and then it took him a few years to figure out that they had the wrong general manager and then finally made the right move, and then things turned around. Mickey Harrison, from the second he bought the team, made the right move to put the right person in place. The Moss family, they're kind of a disaster, to be quite honest. They're into their third general manager. Is this the third or fourth head coach? I think this is the fourth head coach, right? Right? Fourth head coach. So think about it. They've been around like 5 years, and they've had 3 general managers and 4 head coaches. The only reason they win is because they spend money, and they're buying, some of the best players in the world that they can possibly buy to come to the MLS. That's the only reason they're winning. It's not because they have built a good structure and they know what the hell they're doing. They're winning simply on a checkbook. God bless them. They spend. They're fantastic, but they're so dysfunctional. It's not even funny how dysfunctional Inter Miami is. Okay, but they'll spend, and unlike Ross, well, they haven't won anything either in the playoffs, by the way. They haven't advanced. But unlike Ross, it's kind of worked out a little better for them. That's all. But yeah, man, it's hard to be the owners and do the right things. And unfortunately, Ross has done the right thing for everything else except for his football team on the field. Off the field, everything for the football team is exceptional. And then everything else for the entire property. Oh my God, what he's done with that property. Tom Garfinkel is a freaking god. He's a badass, dude. Tom Garfinkel is, he needs to find his Garfinkel on the football side. Anyway, Stephen Harris, good afternoon to you, sir. Checking in on lunch break. That is dedication. Thank you. Who they need to trade is Tyler. Load up on picks for the next 2 off seasons. His value has never been higher. Well, Castle, nice to see you're on my bandwagon now. I've been on that bandwagon for a while. I hope the Hawks beat the Magic and the Heat beat the Bulls. Therefore, I can go to Friday night's game, Heat game in Orlando. Oh, good for you, Dad Dean. I hope that happens for you, my brother. And we need Memphis to win tonight. Temple of the Dog or Velvet Revolver. That's fucking nice, dude. Corso, that's a good one right there, dude. Oh, man. 2 super groups, man. Wow. I'm going to have a slight lean to Temple of the Dog. Slight lean to Temple of the Dog. Slight. Love both, man. But slight lean to Temple of the Dog. Slight. I feel bad dissing Velvet Revolver because I love Velvet Revolver, but dude, Temple of the Dog is badass. So I'm going Temple of the Dog. Yeah. Finish that bottle. I have another one here. Barely a little bit left. Anyway. Temple for me, says Corso. Man, says Temple. Brian Radke. Velvet Revolver for me. Nice. Man of 1,050 says a pinky. It's a pinky toe. The pinky toe. Finns have pissed me off for 40 years. To hell with them. Go Bitcoin. Where are we at with Bitcoin, by the way? We were at 84.9 last time I checked. Still there, 84.967. Where's the market today? The Dow is up 57 points, better than down. The S&P is up 15, and the NASDAQ's up about 0.75 of a point. Let's do a little music history. Why don't we, folks? Musicians, birthdays, music history. Let's do a little bit of that. All right. All right, let's go with musicians born on this day. Patrick Carney, drummer for the Black Keys. And I think he's the one that is married to Michelle Branch. If I'm correct, check that out for me. Michelle Branch, Patrick Carney. I think, because I know she's married and maybe even has a child with him. I know they even unfortunately had a miscarriage or something. But I think Carney's the one that's hooked up with Michelle Branch. I don't know if they're still maybe they still are. I don't know. Luis Fonsi, he's ready to go in his Ford, born on this date in 1978. Does he drive his Ford Despacito? All right, we go on. Chris Stapleton, country musician, born in this date in 1978. Edward John O'Brien, guitarist with Radiohead. Let's see. Frank Poulion, bassist with The Darkness. Ooh, born on my year. Samantha Fox. Yeah, baby. Touch Me. I Want Your Body. 1966. 80s girl. Let's see who else is celebrating a birthday today. Linda Perry. She is awesome. Terrific songwriter and producer, but she did have a band for a short time on her own, Four Non-Blondes. All right. What's Up? Everybody knows that song. There's a song in that album that I love. It's like called something Train. Really good song, man. Really good song. Linda Perry is very underrated. You should check her out. She has written all kinds of songs for other artists too. Born in 65 on this date. Let's see who else is celebrating a birthday today. Michael Chapman, producer for Suzi Quatro, born in 1947. Dave Edmunds, the Welsh singer, songwriter, guitarist, born in 1944. Who else celebrating? Clarence Satchel, saxophonist and guitarist with the Ohio Players. Fire! Boom, boom. Let's see who else celebrating birthdays. The way you walk and talk. Really? Let's go. Roy Clark, musician, 1932. That is it for musicians born on this date. Let's go with other famous folk celebrating birthdays today. Leonardo da Vinci, the artist, the inventor, born in 1452 on this date. I think he's passed away just recently. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Elizabeth Montgomery, Bewitch, 1933. Michael Tucci, the actor, he is 79 today, born in 46. Actor Emma Thompson, born in 59. She is 66. Let's see. Actor Danny Pino, born in 74. He's 51. Seth Rogen, born in 82. He's 43. Emma Watson, born in 90. She's 35. And Massey Williams, born in 97, 28. That is famous folks. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date, sir?
Yes, sir. Austin Aries turns 47. Judas Sakaris is 27. And Resuke Taguchi turns 46. Those are your birthdays for April 15th, 2025.
I love it. All right. Let's move over to music history. Let's find out what happened today on April 15th in music history. We start off in 1983. The Bad Brains released their second full-length album, Rock for Light. Years later, Kurt Cobain would call it one of his all-time favorite records. In 2001, the Ramones singer and punk pioneer Joey Ramone died at the age of 49 after a long battle with lymphatic cancer. Can we freaking solve this cancer thing, dude? In 82, Billy Joel successfully underwent surgery to fix a broken wrist. When he got on his motorcycle, he hit a car in Long Island. The hospital switchboard got flooded with well wishes from fans, so the singer had to ask people to stop calling because they were tying up the lines for people who are really sick. In 71, the Beatles won the Oscar for the best original score for the Paul McCartney penned Let It Be, Let It Be, Let It Be. In 2003, they didn't let it be. Fleetwood Mac released their album Say You Will. The disc reunited the band with Lindsey Buckingham, but vocalist Christine McVie opted not to reunite. In 96, Jerry Garcia's remaining ashes were scattered near San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. The rest of his ashes had been distributed in India's Ganj River 11 days earlier. He had died in August of 95. And that's what happened today in Musica history. How about that? There you go. Hit that like button, folks. Porcupine Tree or Pineapple Thief? I'm going to go with Crowded House, Pineapple Head. Great song. That's what I'm going to do. Dad Dean, thank you for the super chat. And I'll go with Pineapple Thief, I guess. I don't know. Since I like pineapples and porcupines are not nice. Big O just saw Angus and the boys last night in Dallas. You are in for a treat and a half. 21 songs, 20-minute solo after Let There Be Rock, and playing with the necktie. AC/DC forever. Can't wait, man. I've seen AC/DC many times. I am looking forward. This will be my last time to see AC/DC, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm probably expecting this to be my last time. There's only a couple guys left. So can't wait, man. Can't wait. Looking forward to Tampa. Looking forward to 2 trips to Tampa and within a couple weeks. One for the one-nighter at AC/DC. The next night I have Morrissey here in Fort Lauderdale. And then in Hollywood. And then 3 weeks later, I go up to Tampa again for Metallica for 2 nights. I got my reservation for Burns Steakhouse the night in between. So on the 6th, I'll see Metallica. On the 7th, I'll have Burns Steakhouse. And on the 8th, I'll see Metallica. What a weekend! What a weekend! I get my Chateaubriand. I haven't had a Chateaubriand from Burns Steakhouse in, God, it's been pre-pandemic the last time I went to Burns Steakhouse. I think I went with my best friend, rest in peace, Bill Preston. I think the last time I was there was with him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. I love Burns Steakhouse. God, so good. So good. And just in case, if any of you are going to be on the weekend in Tampa for AC/DC or for Metallica, reach out and say hi. Maybe we can hook up and share a beer, have a good time. But I'm looking forward to it, Sam. I am looking forward to it. We're going to have 3 amazing concerts. And I just found out one of my favorite young bands, Dirty Honey, is coming to town. My buddy, Robert Grieper, sent it to me. So the Struts with special guest Dirty Honey, August 26th, 8 o'clock. Can't wait, dude. This is going to be awesome. So looking forward to it. That is going to be fantastic. Judas Priest is touring with Alice Cooper. So, Dougie Fresh, if you're watching, if I make the journey to Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, it's not here. But I might go to the Biloxi one. So, could visit you in Victoria over in Pensacola, since we'll be right by there. So, anyway, there you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Burns or St. Elmo's? I'm going St. Elmo's. I'm sorry, I'm going Burns over St. Elmo's. Both have magnificent steaks. I love the shrimp cocktail, but I also love the escargot at Burns Steakhouse. Plus, Burns has the dessert room that has, like, I don't know, the menu has like 600 different ice creams and floats and shakes. And, like, I've never seen a dessert room like that in the second floor. Plus, you have the tour of the kitchen and the wine cellar. So Burns is not only the meal is as good as St. Elmo's or better. It's equal or better, whatever. But then you have the experience of everything else. And so when you have everything else, St. Elmo's falls way behind Burns in that sense. And especially if you're a first timer, the first time to St. Elmo's compared to the first time at Burns, there's no comparison. You know, St. Elmo's is a small place, highly respected, great food, awesome, amazing service. But you go there and you're going to a small restaurant that's tight and they're just fitting in as many tables as they can. You go to Burns Steakhouse, it is huge. It is lavish. It is spacious. It's got rooms all over the place. And unlike St. Elmo's, every room is different. So one of the things, have you been in all the rooms at Burns? Because they're a little different, one from the other. So that kind of stuff. You have a bar that is really, really cool. Like the bar is in the middle of the restaurant in St. Elmo's that you have to walk by it. And they have, you know, it's just not, it's not the same. It's not the same. St. Elmo's is awesome, but Burns takes it to another level. So I'm going to go Burns over St. Elmo's, and not because there's this enormous difference between the food, between the steaks. No, there is an enormous difference actually in the complete menu. Burns is better. And then when you take the dessert room and everything else, forget it. Not even close. So Burns over St. Elmo's. So there you go. That's my full breakdown. Dad Dean doing a lot of drugs right now. Tyreek Hill in a first-round pick in 2026 to move up to the number 2 pick to get the wide receiver CB Hunter. It's awesome. It's awesome. If the drugs work, I'm telling you, go for it. Enjoy yourself. What can I tell you, my friend? I don't, you could try, but I don't think anybody wants that guy. Unfortunately, that's the position we're in. Nobody wants that guy, Yeah. The Belglade one was somebody selling bullshit. Anyway, all right. Appreciate all of you out there. We thank the great Sean Stanley. We thank, of course, the one and only David Furones. Don't forget, folks, you just saw it there. Hialeah Park. We'll be there on Thursday. Use that QR code so you can get the $100 no regret first bet. If you happen to have a Hard Rock account, use a different email or phone number to open up the account so you can get your $100 no regret first bet. We thank David Furones. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley. We thank all of you out there. Those of you that made a donation, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like Ho Yoon, appreciate you all out there. If you made a super chat out there, thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you all tomorrow morning. And tomorrow, by the way, draft coverage starts. I promised you I'd give you a bunch of draft coverage. Tomorrow, Charles Davis and Eric Galco will join us and break down the draft and Dolphins questions for you all out there. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.